I'm a very creative type of person. So doing something almost robotic where you do the same thing every single day, it was driving me
Yeah, I
nuts.
don't like that.
Yeah. And unfortunately, when you're unhappy in the work that you do, it eventually bleeds into your personal life,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Like you can only hold on to that for so long. So in that quest, I remember, my husband and I got into an argument and I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what our parents warned us about, that we were going to have hard time financially and that, getting married young is not a good idea. All the fears that I had about doing this was just showing up in my face. And at that moment, I realized I have two choices. It's either I leave this marriage or I make it work. And I was not just someone that, would just give up on a person, especially a marriage. You're committed to
Yeah.
this marriage, right? And so we made it work and we spoke about it, found out the root of why we were frustrated, we were angry, we were sad about the life that we were living, and we started talking about our vision, what we really hoped for when we got married, what our dreams were. We started to rekindle the dreams that we had as individuals and now combining them as a married couple and figuring out together, okay, how can we make that happen? Because our marriage doesn't have to be the end of our dreams, right? And so from then on, fast forward a year later from that conversation, we ended up leaving our warehouse job and I started just diving deep into how to get out of debt. So we left that job with no debt, eventually got into more debt because I didn't have a job waiting for me when I quit that job. But hey, you're young. We didn't have
Yeah.
kids yet. You're a little bit more bold and
Yeah.
crazy. So we took that leap and my husband eventually got into insurance. He started earning commission. He was really good at it, excelled so quickly in his career in the insurance industry. And here I was, really trying to understand the root of our finances. And I researched how in the world do I get out of debt? And, back in the day, blogs were so popular. And I found this Canadian who was talking about how to get out of debt, started following him, and he started talking about online, earning money online. And I was like, oh my gosh, is this a scam? It wasn't very popular back then.
No, it wasn't.
No. So I remember he was selling this course for $30 on how to publish books on Amazon because that's how he was earning money online. And I said, okay, $30 back then was like, oh my God, that's like a lot of money for me, especially when you're in debt and you don't have income coming in, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Look, this is how I shifted my perspective. When I go and eat, let's say even a fast food restaurant, I easily spend $30. So I just considered it money gone. I'm going to invest in this. And if it's fake, if I get scammed, whatever, lesson learned. So I invested in that course. I think it was like $36 or whatever. Actually followed it to the T. And then I started earning like $2, $5 on Amazon Kindle. And I was like, oh my gosh, this thing is for real. And that was basically the start of my journey into, diving deep into how can I make this an ongoing income earner for me? How can I actually earn money? How can I do what he's doing? Being a coach and just improving yourself and helping others along the way. So that's my story of how I got started in this whole online gig.
Oh man, that's a good story. The thing about marriage is there's no blueprint. There's no like book. There's no like classes. I think a lot of times, at least from my experience, and it sounds like you're like,
alright. Just got the call, it's going down tonight. It's a lot of good vibes here tonight. But then I saw the stallion that I like. Hair from Cali, I live in the valley. Then you look sexy.
yo, What's going down? Smash, like, share the video, and all that good stuff, man. And we're going to have a nice conversation because that's how I like to do it. I like to have a nice conversation. And this topic was brought to my attention by a long time subscriber. For a long time subscriber. He's been around since, 5 years ago. He was around when I had one of my old channels, one of my money-making channels, like 5 years ago. And back in those days, I don't see a lot of people around from 6-7 years ago when I came on YouTube. That's how long I've been on here, and that's how long he's been on here too. But the conversation is, why do beta male simps worship women? That's the conversation. That's something. And this is, you have to understand, as we see things today in society today, especially if you live in North America, I know other parts of the world, things are different. People are socialized to be very different, men and women. But here in North America, being a beta male simp is that's like the norm. That's like, no one looks down upon it. That's like normal today. Putting women on a pedestal, that's like pretty standard today, I would say. As a matter of fact, let me tell you how you know it's standard. Because if you say or do something that's very uncommon, or if you say or do something that maybe people don't see very often, you usually, more than likely, get a different reaction from men and women. That's how you know where people stand in any and in every environment you might be in. That's how you can kind of like test the feedback you would get from the people in your environment, wherever you may be. And every environment is different. The job environment is different. At your house could probably different. The club environment is different. Maybe at a conference would be different. Networking environment would be different. The church would be different. Maybe at a party, say a house party, it would be different. A private party would be different. Everywhere you go, every environment has like its own code of conduct, so to speak. Certain things men and women should do, or it's pretty standard, But the problem is, a lot of people, especially women, they don't want to especially in this day and age. They don't want to consistently keep doing or upholding the bargain as far as the interaction between men and women. Yeah, things have kind of changed. It's kind of like, and this is me just observing, all across America, basically, And I don't say it's right or wrong. I just say that I don't want that type of woman in my life. That's all. I don't say it's right or wrong. I don't point the finger. I rarely judge. All I say is if I see a woman with a bunch of tattoos on her arms, tattoos on her back, tattoos on her neck, tattoo on her face, tattoo on her legs, tattoo on her thighs. I don't want that woman. I don't want to get close to a woman like that. But those are my standards. I have a right to my standards. I have a right to have my preference. Now people say, well, you're discriminating. Well, yeah, I am discriminating. It's okay to discriminate. There's nothing wrong with that. People trying to make you feel bad, like when it comes to having your own preference or discriminating. I discriminate all the time. I discriminate by saying, hey, I don't want to ride the city bus. I'm going to drive my car, or I'm going to buy a car. So I won't have to ride that city bus or take public transportation, period. Because I don't like public transportation. So I would rather have a car. So I'm discriminating. That's my preference. There's nothing wrong with that. Just like a lot of people will try to make you feel bad by say, hey, you're a control freak. Well, yeah, this is my life. What's wrong with controlling as much aspects of my life as humanly possible? There's nothing wrong with that. What is wrong with controlling my household where I live? There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of women say, oh, you too controlling. You don't like my friends. You said they were hoes, at least one of them, and you don't want them to come over as much. Well, is there some truth to what I said about her? Is she a hoe? Is she's kind of loose with some of the guys? She's telling her own stories. She's telling her own truth. She's running through guys. So I don't want that type of energy, that type of spirit where I live all the time. That's my preference. This is where I live. Well, God damn. I mean, look, out in public, I can't control being around people out in public unless I just don't want to be there. But out in public, I can't control what happens out in public. I just try to stay away from certain areas of activities out in public. But goddamn, don't tell me that I can't control where I live. Don't tell me that I have to let everybody come over to my house. Come on, man. Don't tell me I'm being too much of a control freak just because I'm not allowing everybody to come over. Come on, man. If that's being too much of a control freak, hey, I'll take that. Don't tell me that if I have kids, I don't want that woman, your friend, around my daughter. Because I don't want that energy around my daughter, because I don't want her to rub off on my daughter and rub off on my kids. In my house, the place where I lay my head at night. If that's too much of a control freak, I'll take that any day of the week. You know? So a lot of guys get shamed, and a lot of women make them feel bad. You know, but I don't fall for that. I don't fall for all that nonsense, because this is my life, my game, my show. And I learned a long time ago that nobody was coming to save me. And if I wanted to live or have a certain type of life, it was up to me. And I also recognize that I don't have to have a lot of friends. And everybody doesn't have to like me. I'm okay with that. You know, I'm not running for office. I ain't trying to be a politician. I'm just trying to live my best life on my own terms and have time freedom. I want to live my life and spend time around the people that I care about the most and create opportunities for me and others that I'm close to. That's it. I don't really care about what comes on TV. You know, I don't really care about how much money somebody else got. I only care about how much money I got coming in. I don't really care about impressing anybody. I mean, I already been through that phase, which was a waste of goddamn time. You know, some of us go through that phase where we're trying to impress people that don't really care about you in the first place, but for whatever reason, we think they do. And we go through that phase and we be like, man, these people that I'm spending all this time with, they really didn't give a damn about me in the first place. And they're gone now. By the time you realize this, you're in your 30s. On average, most people, you're in your 30s, you know. And when you're in your 30s, say mid 30s, now this is when your life really starts. At about 35, 34, 35, when your life really starts. When you really get serious and see how this thing, see how life really works. You start to understand what's really going on out here. You start to understand how to get things done. Because you realize that most of the things you were taught, they were lies. They were untruth. You've been bamboozled. I remember Brother Dick Gregory, rest in peace to him. He said something a long time ago. And I never forgot about it. He said, man, once you put the magic glasses on, man, you never be able to take it off. And that's true. Once you start seeing things for what it is, you never be able to go back to where you used to be. You know, no woman can manipulate you anymore or have you thinking one thing and it ain't so. That'll never happen to me again because I've seen too much and experienced too much. So when I first meet a woman, there's nothing she can say to me that I haven't heard before. I don't care how she's dressed. There's nothing she can say or do that doesn't really impress me. Because I've heard almost everything she could ever say. You know, I've heard it all. Yeah, from positive to negative. You know. Now, could she say some things where I would be like, okay, I can rock with that. Okay, I can't deal with that. Yeah, she could say some things that I definitely can't. Could say I can't deal with that, or I don't want to deal with that, or oh, I like that. Yeah, but no, there's no more surprises. You know, so this happens as you get older, though, and you have more experience. See, because I had to grow up fast. I didn't have the privilege of taking things slowly. I had to grow up fast, you know. When I left my parents' house, like 20 years old. And I got sent 7,000 miles away. So I couldn't call my parents and say, hey, come save me. No. And I was overseas in Japan, in an entirely different world. So if I was to call my parents and say, hey, I need some help with this and that, what they gonna say? They ain't never been to Japan before. You know, the farthest my parents ever been is what? I think the Bahamas. That's the longest they've ever been anywhere. But besides the Bahamas, they ain't never really been nowhere else. They ain't never been to Japan or any of the places I've been. So I couldn't call them and ask them, hey, you ever had this experience? No. People can only tell you what they know or what they experience. And your parents can't tell you everything. It's impossible. Sometimes the stuff that your parents told you, it hurt you more than anything. Sometimes some things you saw maybe your dad did, it didn't work out for you. It hurt you more than anything. A lot of times we have to reprogram ourselves. We have to scrap all the stuff we've been taught and start all over again. A lot of us we're programmed to fail. That's the truth. A lot of us are really programmed to fail. We're unprogrammable. A lot of us. We can't be reprogrammed. A lot of us, because the shit is so ingrained into us, is going to be an act of God. Take an act of God to reprogram most of us. And even if we do learn better and start to do better, as soon as you go back home, or start talking to one of your old buddies back at home, a lot of us will revert back to the way we used to be in one weekend. It'll only take one person to knock you off, set you back to the way you used to be. So think about this for a second. You've been doing the work on yourself, mentally, physically, spiritually, financially. You've been doing it for 18 months. It's Thanksgiving coming up. You decide to go home for Thanksgiving. Hang out with your sisters and your brothers and your parents and your grandparents and your aunts and uncles, right? You start telling them that whatever you're doing, you got this, you're doing something on the side, trying to replace your job income. So you telling them this, and they have nothing positive to say at all. And you feel a certain type of way about that. You don't like it. So you let them discourage you to their way of thinking, their lackluster, failure way of thinking. You let them talk you into basically quitting because your uncle tried it and it didn't work. Maybe your auntie tried it, it didn't work. Oh, your brother tried it. He had so much problems with it, and he don't want to do it no more. He'll never do it again. So you listen to all this crap that you never knew about until Thanksgiving weekend. Nobody said anything positive. Not one person. You don't even realize it because this is kind of normal thing for a lot of us. Most of our relatives are negative, but to us, this is normal to us. You know, most people don't have anything good to say about anything because they look at it like, if it ain't work for us, it's probably not going to work for you either. So you leave after Thanksgiving weekend, go back to your spot, wherever you living at, and you decide to quit. You decide to quit. You like, man, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. My uncle said this. My aunt said that. My brother said this. I don't think it's worth it, man. You let them talk you into quitting because that's how weak you are. Because you're such a weak snowflake. You let people talk you into quitting something, and they never even tried to do it. They never even put the time and energy into it. They never even committed to it. That's what you don't understand. All they did is just gave it a shot. They never committed. As a matter of fact, most of your relatives, if I had to guess, they never committed to anything in their entire life. I said it. Most of your relatives never committed to anything in their whole entire life. They've never made no commitments to anything. All they do is just give it a shot. That's all they do. So it doesn't matter what you give them. Step by step, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're still not gonna make it. They're still not gonna be successful. That's what you don't understand. This is why people get a divorce, because they're not committed. They're not committed to making it work. See, it's not necessarily if it works. it's if it works for you, if it's going to work for you. If you made the commitment, it will work for you because you'll figure it out. But most people don't think like that. They don't think like this. They'll be like, oh, I'll just give it a shot and see what happens. Well, giving it a shot, that's not commitment. That's not commitment. If you got one person committed and the next person ain't, well, that's not going to work either. You know, you see, because one person thinks they're better than the other. You know, one person is putting the other person on the pedestal. And see, a lot of guys secretly, they don't think they have anything of value to offer a woman, which is really the opposite, especially today. You know, now a lot of women will say, well, you know, I'm educated, I got a good job, and I got a car and a house, and they focus on all the shallow material things. I'm like, who cares? I already have a bunch of shit. I already have a bunch of stuff. And a lot of it, I got rid of it. Half of it, I got rid of over the past 10 years. Why? Because it's too much shit. And it's not valuable. A lot of stuff is not really valuable, especially if you're still paying on it and you're not getting no type of ROI in return, no cash every month. I want cash flow in hand every month. I don't care if it's $10, $20, $50, $100, $200, $500, $2,000. I want cash flow as much as I can in as many areas as I can. That's how I think, you know. And most women, they're not thinking like that. They're thinking about the stuff they think about. Most guys don't care about. Most guys don't care how many degrees you got. I was looking at I think I was on Instagram. This lady said, "Oh, I got a master's in RN." I'm like, okay, who cares? I mean, what? She got a math. She's highly educated, but once you go home at night, nobody's there. So how's that? How does that benefit you? If the math just done that up. I mean, a lot of these women are depressed. These highly educated women are depressed. They have high blood pressure. A lot of them are sick. And a lot of them secretly are popping pills, some type of antidepressants. If they're not taking it, they used to take it, some type of pills. This is what a lot of guys don't realize. And this is something you should be aware of when you're out meeting these women. And this is part of the reason why a lot of these women are so mentally unstable, because they popping them damn pills. Next time you go to a woman's house, go in the bathroom and open the cabinet. You're gonna see some pills. More than if she's been staying there for a while, you're gonna see some damn pills in there, in that cabinet in the bathroom. And there's a good chance you're gonna be looking at some pills you can't even pronounce the word on the bottle. And 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be some form of antidepressant or some type of pain pills. And you're gonna be like, God damn, this motherfucker's popping all kind of pills. And you have to ask yourself, do you want to be with a woman that's popping pills like that? That's the question you have to ask. And them damn pills, they make women's hormones go crazy. And why is she taking them damn pills? That's what you got to find out. What is this about? Is it, well, her life is out of control? She ain't happy? What is this? Why is she taking antidepressants? Or why is she used to take antidepressants? I mean, me personally, I'm afraid of hard drugs. Any type of, I'm anti-pill. I don't take no pills. I don't give a damn if it's aspirin. I don't take no pills at all. I don't do it unless I just got a migraine headache and this shit ain't stopping no time soon, and it's banging like somebody hitting me in the head with a baseball bat, that type of pain. But for the most part, well, that doesn't happen very often, but for the most part, I don't take no, I've never taken a painkiller or any form of antidepressants. I never been on none of that shit. Because it doesn't help. It's like a Band-Aid. It's like a Band-Aid, man. That's what, if you want to get past certain things, you got to get to the core of why is this happening to me? And we live in a pill-popping society. Most people don't get down to the bottom of anything because they don't commit. They don't make the commitment. They don't make the commitment to themselves. So how the hell do you expect them to make a commitment to a relationship with you in it? Think about that for a second. If they won't commit to themselves, you got to look at how people treat themselves. If they won't make a commitment to themselves, how do you figure she's going to make a commitment to being in a relationship with you? She might not think it's worth being in a relationship with you when times get hard, or maybe the kids get sick, or maybe you get sick. You got to think about stuff like this. What type of family she comes from? How was her mom? How was her dad? A lot of people, men and women, have low self-esteem. They don't think highly of themselves. You got to see people when they're at their, when things aren't going so well. How do they handle it? When things are going well, everybody's having a good time. Well, shit, anybody can deal with that. But how are things going how's she acting when things aren't going so well? Maybe the money gets short. Maybe something happened and it set off a tornado and it threw the money off. Oh, don't think just because you have enough money coming in that you won't have no financial problems ever. Oh, no. You're naive. You're naive. Just because you have enough money coming in, that doesn't say that you won't have no financial problems ever. Oh, no. Real life don't work that way. Oh, no. The more money you have coming in, it usually gets more complicated. That's what usually happens, especially when you're a young man and a young woman, because most of us didn't come from money. So we usually have to learn through trial and error or learn from other people if you're lucky. But if you think you're going to get rich and somehow your money problems won't be, it's going to be over. Oh, you're naive. You're naive. No. That's just like when guys will say, a lot of guys will say, oh, when I get some money, I'll have all the girls. You're naive again. It doesn't work like that. You might get some girls, but they're going to take your damn money. They're going to take your damn money because you have no game and you a fool. With that mentality. And it happens all the time. And as soon as you get your money taken because you have no game, what do most guys say? What do most guys say when they get taken advantage of? You know what most guys say. They blame it all on the woman. They're like, oh, it's her fault. She's taking advantage of me. She don't want a good man and all this crap. It's your life, man. You brought that woman, you met that woman, you brought her over to your house, you invited her into your life. You have to take responsibility for that. You can't blame everything on a woman, man. You can't blame everything on a woman. You brought that woman over to your house. You showed her where you live. You showed her where you live over a short amount of time because you were so attracted to her. You were fascinated by how she looked. You thought she was the most beautiful woman in your city, wherever you live. You thought she was special, didn't you? You thought she was the one. Woo-wee. You was like, man, you told your parents about her, your grandparents about her, you told your aunts about her. You showing her off around your friends. You drink her bath water. You brought her over during Thanksgiving and Christmas. You even took her on a vacation on New Year's Eve. Y'all brought in the New Year's together and every goddamn thing. You went all out with her, boy. Woo-wee. She got a nice round ass and some nice tits, nice lips. Y'all having good sex. Oh, you're like completely. You're like you're all in, 10 toes down, and you found out she took advantage of you. She robbed you. She took your money. She used one of your credit cards. You didn't know it. You realized that somebody used one of your credit cards. It looks like it was a bill or maybe something like that. And then after you reported it and took you some time to figure it out, but you kind of narrowed it down because after you called the credit card company, there was like, it happened on this such and such a day and time. And maybe the credit card company tracked where the transaction came from. And lo and behold, the address came back to where she lived at, her house. And boy, that really bothered you, boy. You be like, damn, why would she do that to me, man? She took you for like $2,000-3,000 on your credit card. And you showed her proof and everything. All the, you showed her the paperwork that the credit card company gave you, and the IP address from her computer came back to her address, and every goddamn thing. All the way down to her computer and everything. You showed it to her, and she lied straight up. Said it wasn't me. I didn't do nothing like that. I'll never do nothing like that. But the address is on the damn paper. The address on the paper, and like, she's the only person that you even get close to, or maybe gotten close to for the last 2 years. Or maybe it's been a year. She's the only person you took out and spent money on like that, went on a vacation, and you met her parents and everything. You like her parents, you met her sister and brother, but she still robbed you. You like, man, how did this doesn't make any sense. Why would a woman do some shit like that? Because she's an opportunist. She wasn't really feeling you like that from the get-go. She was just in it for just see what you could get out of it. At least she let you meet her parents. Most women that are opportunists, you never meet their parents. And you never meet their friends. You might meet her kids if she got them, but usually you don't meet the parents. And you don't meet none of her friends. Or you don't meet none of her friends that she care about the most. You usually don't. I know guys that have been talking to women for months, over a year. So he never met her parents. He's serious about her. He said he never met her parents and never met any of her close friends. I said, well, you pretty much know where you stand, buddy. If a woman's serious about you, she's going to want you to meet her friends at some point. And her parents, if her parents still living. And her sisters and their brothers. That's usually how that goes. So that's kind of a red flag if that doesn't happen. I would say if that doesn't happen within the first 2 years, I would say in the first 2 years, if that doesn't, assuming y'all still dating within that 2-year time frame, if it doesn't happen within that time frame, if she doesn't bring it up, at least. Now, sometimes it's a distance thing. Maybe y'all live in North America and her parents live in someplace like Australia. So that's a long way. I get that. Her parents live on the other side of the world and y'all in North America. Now, if the distance come into play, I get that. But if she doesn't even bring it up, man, that's kind of a red flag. She's not really serious as much as you think. And that's okay. It's good to know where you stand with people. That's what I always say. I like to know where I stand with people. I don't have to like it. 9 times out of 10, I'm probably not going to like it. And I'm okay with that. But a lot of guys need to know that they can bring something to the table of value. You know, it ain't just about women all the time. You know, there's a reason why women are chasing and being strategic in trying to get with guys out here. Other women are not doing that towards other women. Women are not strategically trying to run behind other women out here. No. Women are doing that with guys only. So that tells you something right there. Women are not strategically trying to go after other women, trying to get them for their money. No. Women are not doing that with other women. So you are the prize, man, whether you know it or not. You just got to do the math and observe. You know, well, I know a lot of women play this little game and make it seem like she's some diva chick or whatever the hell that means. That doesn't mean anything. That's just talk. Well, I tell you what, when you go in that courtroom, there's no diva talk. There's no boss babe. There's no blazing. There's no, what else they be saying? You know, there's no, that's my girlfriend, that's my boyfriend. There's none of that type of talk when you walk in that courtroom. It's strictly business. Either you're married or you're single. That's it. Either you're black or you're white or, you know, Latina. Yeah. It's usually something that everyone can figure out real fast. You know, it's not a lot of confusion. You know, when you walk in that courtroom, everything is clear and concise. And everything moves slow. That's another thing. Nothing moves fast. They'll say, hey, are you such and such such? Yes. Okay. Where's your are you defending yourself or where's your attorney? It's like this is not everything's slow motion, clear and concise. There's no confusion. Nobody in there talking about how they feel. You hurt my feelings, and no, and nobody's talking about none of that. No, you know, nobody's in there saying stuff like making up words that they do on the internet. You know, no, there's none. No one's in there saying all this stuff they talk about online. People just making up stuff that ain't so in real life. You know. But hey, man, you know. I'm gonna put the link in here, man. I want to hear what you have to say. So join the conversation. Please. Let's go. We said, oh, none of our friends that cares about it. Yeah, man. Yeah, a lot of times Yeah, I said, man, nothing's gonna change in North America, man, until men do it. If you want things to change, the men are gonna have to do it. Women are not gonna change anything. Only change women are gonna make is gonna be for the worse, not for the better. I mean, we're the way things are going in North America. We're on a course. We're on a cliff. We're damn near already. We're floating down the hill in North America, just socially speaking. You know, that's the way it's going now in North America. We're almost in a place where there's no there's no coming back. Yo,
Is that
it's
we're
going
on
down.
we're on the precipice of disaster here.
Yeah, we're on a damn near on a cliff of we're we ain't coming back, bro.
Nope. Uh, I don't know why they keep playing it like there's nothing wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of people are acting like, oh, this is just it's always been this way. Oh no, no. You know?
Okay, sorry about that. I'm installing something. Oh shit. Anyway, um, yeah. I mean, I don't hate them, and they got their preferences. So yeah,
No.
you win or you don't. That's how the game works. You know, that's
Well,
just
yeah, you gotta. That's how it's looking like. You just gotta beat them into submission,
yeah,
figuratively speaking. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. But I feel like if you weren't into it already, how are you going to be into it later? And if I gotta make you submit to something that I need and I need now, then later on, if something goes wrong, you're not going to be there. Just as you were saying a minute ago, you know, when a disaster happens, it's your ass, and nobody's going to save you. Definitely not her. So,
This is why you gotta have more than one.
all right. You might actually have it right. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I always say one of anything is a recipe for a disaster. Anything,
Anything.
you name it. One income, one job, one car, one shoes, one pants, one woman. You name it. You know?
Um, but I mean, I just I don't want them to feel bad about anything, but
No.
yeah, yeah. Did you hear that one kid from Austin? His name is Austin something.
No,
I
what
forget his name.
what what he said.
He, I mean, dude's fit. He looks good. Everybody was like, he's basically like a Chad. He looks good. He's got built up muscles and everything else. He looks good. Face is right. Went down to Brazil and came back up, and he was just like, "Don't date these women,
In
don't take
Brazil?
them seriously." Yeah, he came
Wow.
back up here and said, "Don't take these American U.S. Women seriously,"
Oh no. Oh,
because
he came back to America and said that. North
yes,
American said that.
hmm
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's kind of common.
right. So now they're kind of mad at him for bringing out the game, and you know, I kind of understand, but at the same time, you dug your own grave. This was not something that he just brought up recently. I
No.
mean, you've been running your mouth for a long time, and now it's just coming to bite you in the ass. That's all. I don't
Yeah.
know what they want.
Well, they don't know what they want. That's the thing. It's only what's important. Really, the only thing that's important is what do the men want. You know what I'm saying? This going over to other countries and having a different experience with a woman. You know this is not a new thing. The
No,
only
it's not.
difference today is you have average guys doing it.
No.
Yeah.
And see, no, here's the reason why I'm gonna break this down because I kept not saying it and I kept forgetting to say this. Why women were thirsty before this. Number one, most of the guys got their foreign female experience when they were in the military.
Exactly.
And those old fogies and those people that went to in the 70s and stuff like that, they were in the Korean War and the Vietnam War.
Yeah. But they
Now
didn't
look
talk
at the
about it.
yeah, well, they ain't got to talk about nothing. I want you to look at the statistics. There was a shortage in men. Testosterone. You ain't had that either. We ain't lost that many men.
But but
So
the difference is guys that's been in the military, they don't look at them as average guys.
no, no,
That's the difference.
no.
The average dude that ain't never been in the military that just got his little job at the fast food restaurant, he's
Right,
going to these countries now. And he's
right.
coming back telling his story and what he
Hmm.
saw, what he experienced.
Right,
That
right,
didn't happen like that back in the day.
right. Mhm.
That's the difference today.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying why they were thirsty back then in America, in the US, was because they lost so many men. So it was
Yeah,
like, you need to grab you one. It wasn't just because it was in town, because they were working in different places outside of their town, what is it, Rosie the Riveter type situation.
yeah.
But mm-mm, nope. It was like playing musical chairs. You had to get one. You weren't gonna you wouldn't get nothing. And those men had more than enough women they could deal with. But now
Exactly.
they're real comfortable. This is the most peaceful time we've ever had. They don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
But now it's almost like everybody wants to fight because they're bored.
Well,
They're-
a lot of these women are depressed secretly.
yeah, that is true too. That's true.
I tell you, if you go to the, I'm gonna say if you go to an average woman house that's 30 plus,
Right.
you go in her bathroom, open that cabinet,
Hmm.
you're gonna be like, oh man, damn, how many pills you got? That is, now I know if that's happened to me, that's happened to other guys.
Right.
Other guys have seen it. You're gonna see some pills in there. You can't even spell the name on the bottle. You can't even pronounce it. I'm like, what the heck is this for?
Oh,
And then you be like, oh, that's why she be acting all crazy every once in a while. This motherfucker's on antidepressants. I'm the son of a bitch.
well, but here's the thing, and why I say men, especially black men, need to go to therapy is because think about the environment, what's going on. You know, we're sometimes we're being emasculated here by default. I mean, like say for instance, somebody coming from from another country like Ghana or um, from Jamaica or whatnot, they come in here with a masculine step, but you don't feel like somebody's going to, well, the police are going to beat you up, but it's your country, it's your people. You're here with, you know, it's not the same. I went to Trinidad and Tobago and I got off the plane, got in the car, and we were riding around and we were in traffic. And
Mm-hmm.
I kept looking around, something's not right. Nice cars out there, everything, traffic. And looked at, and because I drove around DC and Baltimore to get to work. And then I looked around, it was all black people. Now, it's not to say there weren't black people coming up and doing traffic in DC, or Maryland. But you usually get a mix, you know.
Yeah.
But here, I was like, it was a sea of black people. Ain't no, this is their country, you
Yeah.
know. And here, you don't have that feeling. How can you also feel that for some people, you know? So
It's a
yeah,
different game up here.
right, right,
We're
right.
fighting, basically, we're fighting against everybody.
Well, I tell you what, if you did go over those countries, at least you'd halfway feel normal. It's not your country, but they still sympathize with you. You know, they have a sense of caring too. They'll still kind of fuck
Yeah.
with you, but
They, they have a
they'll
different mentality, yo.
right, right.
Especially when
They'll
they
hear
come
you,
over here.
right.
They have
And they
different
watch too many
mentality.
movies,
Yeah.
just like everybody
Like,
else.
I don't even really think it's the movies because some of them been over here for they've been over here for years. Some of them 10, 20 years. And if you talk to them,
Uh huh.
it's kind of like this dude ain't fighting for nothing.
Right, right.
It's like, oh, I give you an example. If I told some of these guys of things that I had to fight for,
Hmm.
being that I was in the military, they'd be like, what's it? Why'd you have to do that? Because I did my time. It's like they kind of they don't
They can't
they
they
don't
can't relate to the effort and the work.
no, they don't believe in really fighting for what they think they deserve. It's kind of like I don't know how they really operate, really, as far as mentally. They just kind of find a way to justify why they shouldn't do it. It's kind of weird. I don't understand that mentality.
They don't want to stick their neck out, but they feel confident about it
Yeah.
because it's worked before and it's worked in their favor, and so they feel strong about it. That's the thing about being in a foreign country that they're in control of. They don't necessarily have to be in control of it. What you're working too hard to get something, and I think that's what they're thinking here. When you're just working too hard. But here's the thing: um, the squeaky wheel doesn't get oil here, especially when you're the wheel that nobody wants. They're trying to
Yeah.
play games with.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if I said this before, but my analogy for black people in America, this African guy, I was like, you. I walked into the store and I said, and I've talked to him before, and I looked at him and I said, you don't understand why African Americans how they feel here, right? And he's like, no, no, and you're confused about it. Yeah, I said how you should think because you're happy to be here and everything. You're comfortable. And I said to him, I'd rather be a starving, thirsty, prideless lion, male lion, out on the savannah than to be a well fed lion, fattened up lion in this zoo.
Yeah.
And he got it. Immediately he got it. I was like, in a cage, in a cage. And he got it. And then I had to explain at least you have an opportunity out there. You know, eventually you might catch a caribou. Eventually you'll find a watering hole. If you don't, hey, you die. That's it. You tried. But at least you had a chance to try. There was an opportunity. Um, Even if class, wise, you're not up at the top of the rung, you might be at the top of your rung. Um, but the other analogy is that imagine they finally opened the cage door and you're trying to get out, and there's like five people out there. Two or three of them are going looking at you like, "Come on out, come on out." One person is like, two people are like, "Yeah, it's okay," but they're indifferent, right? They're getting you out and they're cautious. And And people hear about lions here and there, but you know, they try to reason with you, try to work with you. They could be here or there. And then there's this last person that's like, I don't want you out of this cage. Not because in America it's interesting. It's not because they hate you. It's not because they think you're stupid. That's just rhetoric. It's almost like as I've said before, Charlie Murphy said something interesting about what's that dude's name? The one that played music. I forget his name. But anyway, he said he's a habitual line stepper. They want to smack somebody or they want to do somebody. In fact, that middle person, that could be them too.
Mm-hmm.
And a habitual line stepper just wants to they want to mess with you. They don't get into churches and pray to be and get all holy to just be there. They get that way so they can mess with them and mess with people outside of it. You can tell who they are. You can tell by how they talk. People just need to step back and listen and look at them for 5 minutes. You know who it is.
Yeah.
They'll just set stuff up. A habitual line stepper, they will get you in trouble every time, every single time. Um, but yeah, they could be a true racist, but most of the time they're just a habitual line stepper. They're
Yeah.
looking for opportunities for themselves, and they'll create it any way they can. Because if they didn't do it this way, their own group of people wouldn't help them. And this is similar in any society. It's just the same thing. Just the same thing.
And it also seems like a lot of people, if they let you out the cage, they act like they're gonna lose something.
Yeah, that's what the fifth person's for. And sometimes the one of the two in the middle, because they know they don't know anything. They know they don't know much.
Exactly.
And but it doesn't mean that you're going to lose anything. It just means you got to train harder. That's it. But some of them don't want to train. Now, I'm
Exactly.
not going to tell you where this next place is in America. I'm sure they'll figure it out by what I'm saying, but I'm going to have respect for them. In a certain area in the United States, in the East, um, there's a group of people where their their way of life was going down. This was about 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, and they had a story on the news about it. And I could give it to you in private once I find it. And this group of people were being offered to go to vocational schools, go to college, and everything, and get out of this dangerous job that they've been doing for years. They ain't got to do it anymore. It's just got to find another vocation. So you get electrical engineering, electronic engineering, chemical engineering, which makes $70,000 at least minimum off the break. Anything. This lady and a couple people had the nerve to get up and say on TV. They said, I don't want to do that.
Mm.
I mean, I know that some people have a hard time educating themselves. You get older, you're slipping here and there. I don't mind admitting I'll have that problem. But they're offering you a way, you know, and in this situation, the color of your skin, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say that about them because, it is what it is. And black people can't be mad at it. If we had our own country like that, we'd be getting favors like that too. But they're they're not happy about the opportunity that being given. They're not taking advantage of it. So what are you mad about? I don't know. That shouldn't be your default answer. I don't know is not a default answer. You can't lead off with that. Um, but yeah, I have respect for them. I don't look down on those people, but damn, you had an opportunity, and nobody else in our society had that opportunity. We be struggling in the cities and all that sort of stuff. And all it would take is a few classes and it would solve our problem. Nope. They aren't trying to give us money like that. What are you talking about? You need to go and get yourself a job. Well, that requires a degree. Well, sucks to be you. Wait, you could give us training. Nope. Nope. Ain't trying to see it.
Yeah, I think a lot of us, including me, at when I was a young man, or younger man, I should say, a lot of us, we don't get to pick what we want to do.
Right.
We got to do what we got to do until we can do better.
Right.
And then you have some people, they get all the opportunities in the world,
Right.
and they choose to sit back and be like, I don't want to do that.
Right.
I'll be like,
Right.
why not?
Right.
I'd rather just keep doing what we've been doing. I'm like, okay, you know,
But yeah, that's what I'm trying to give. I
we don't
mean, trying to give back to why that person is acting that way. Just
because
all
they
that it backtracks. That's their way of thinking. You
yeah,
know, they don't all those steps back that you were hearing all the stories I'm saying, those are connected. It's the same way they're thinking. It's the same way these people that could have gotten training for free and just ain't doing it.
yeah,
They'll come up with any reason. And that's why they identify with them. Because why are you doing so much? You don't just lay back and sit back and wait for things to come to you. But there's a lot of people that want to use their brain. They want to tinker with stuff. They don't want to just be here. You
yeah,
can go back and just be here, and when you're interested in something, you might be able to do it, or might get people's attention, or get in a group and get something started, maybe. And it may get started or get people excited, and when you get bored, leave it alone. Here we don't have that opportunity. That doesn't happen. um I just So I understand what they're doing, and I understand how they're feeling, and I also understand how they feel confident in themselves and whatnot. But you can't really do that here. That's why I also say that I kept asking my parents after a while. I said, "Why are we here? What are we here for?" Because
but your parents, where'd they move from?
no, they're from here. We've been here forever. But I kept
Okay.
asking, from a human being perspective, why are we here? What purpose is it to be here? I mean, I'm waiting to get shot. I'm waiting for somebody to
You
look
just
down
had
on me.
you just had to reproduce. That's it.
Right, right, and be somebody's worker. At least I'd be in another country where they'd appreciate my work. I
Yeah,
guess that's what's about to happen, But
you really have to kind of like choose um your purpose in life. You can choose to go along the
okay,
I guess the kind of like the path that's been given to you,
right,
or you can choose another path. But you have to, that's going to take time for you to find what you like, what you want to do, and on and on. You know what I mean?
right,
That's that's how I see it. And you got some people, man, will take what's been passed down to them, and they're fine with it. Just like you just
yeah.
said,
Well,
they
that's
might
the way.
be, and they might be in poverty, living in filth,
Right,
and they'll be like, they're
still
just
work with the system.
fine.
Right.
Yeah, they're fine.
I tried to work within this system here. Take my time, try to do whatever, try to let it pass. Sometimes it was right, sometimes it was wrong. But no, I mean, there was one time where they had me on one shift. Look at like a year ago to 6 months ago, I was the go-to person at this job. And then this new person came in, and all of a sudden I was trash.
Oh
I had
yeah,
fixed stuff on my network and everything and whatnot. And then all of a sudden, these other people came in, and they
new
they were
management.
all talking. Yeah, and I mean, and I want to just say, excuse my language to that manager in Virginia. Fuck you. You're on the street. I'm beating your ass.
Yeah.
No, I don't care how much muscle you have. I know how to hurt you. Just lay down. Anyway, um, yeah, and that emasculates you right there too, because you're trying to keep your job.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah.
That's
Sorry
kind of
about that.
common. That's kind of common when new management comes in, man.
Yeah, but
You go from
sorry
a,
about that.
you go. It's all good. You go from a hero to zero overnight.
Right, right. And so they were saying I was sleeping at my desk when I wasn't. They were trying to say that when I was actually doing work, I was working two or three phone calls at the same time. They were adding stuff on different work jobs for people doing work, and they still piled up stuff on me, and nobody was working. Just like you were saying about the foreigner that you're working too hard. Well, I liked working hard on it. I liked working on networks. That you can't say anything to me. I was fixing stuff, and then but I was real tired on the day shift and it wasn't working for me. So they got me on evening shift, right? And I was doing all the work. And before I started working, I said to the supervisor for that night, I said, "You've been hearing some things about me or something like that for some reason." He said, "Yeah, you know." And I'm like, "I don't." They're saying I don't fill out my paperwork or not, and I'm not doing this and not doing that, right? Right. Okay. And I started doing the same thing did during the daytime. And I asked him, I'm doing the same thing I did in the daytime. He said, "Am I exceeding what I'm supposed to do?" He was like, "Yes." And then I looked at him. I said, "When is my good enough good enough?" That's what it's like being the lion in the cage.
Yeah, it's never going to be good enough.
And as it is, like black women that were on our job were seeing this, and they were treating me like that. They were just coming at me, and I couldn't be any other way. If I told you you need to shut the fuck up, I'd be out there in 5 seconds.
Yeah,
They're not trying to defend me. They're not trying to save me. If I
no,
said anything, I'd be fired, and you need to know that.
yeah. This is why I say we're fighting against everybody over here, up here
You're
in North
fighting
America.
against yourselves, your
Yeah,
own community. I'm like,
yeah. Right.
you
It's like
do understand I could, you do understand I could throw your ass around, right?
I had a guy, an older guy, told me something. He said the mob will always attack the strongest in the building. I'm like, he said that and he walked off, right? So I had to think about that for a second. I'm like,
Right,
yeah, you're kind of right about that, you know. And
right,
then as I got older, because I was in my 20s then. As I got
right,
older, I kept having similar experiences in different environments,
right,
and I got to a point I was like, yo, I'm gonna have to make a shift when it comes to these jobs. As I get
right,
older, I'm not gonna be able to survive and thrive in these job environments because I'm not good at playing politics at all. You know, you can't.
right,
There's no safe space if you stay by yourself. You're not a team player. If you
right.
if you talk to people, if you say too much, they'll take what you say and use it against you.
You just
If
get
you
you right,
if you if you you know if you're productive, that ain't gonna ever be enough. You know,
No,
if you
no.
don't do enough, they say, hey, you're not doing your job. I'm like, well, there's no medium. It's
Between it.
no, it's no
Happy medium.
safe, productive position in these jobs for guys like me.
Right.
I that took me about, man, that took me like 15 years to come to that conclusion. You know, I'm like,
Right.
I'm gonna have to you know, invest in myself into the future because I'm not gonna be able to do this. I'm not
But
gonna make it
here's
to the 65 or 62 and collect Social
right.
Security. I knew this at an
But
early age.
here's the thing where they got us, or rather they got me. The DC metropolitan area is expensive. And no matter how much more we made than everybody else, it was, let's put it this way. Me and one of my buddies at work were going to rent a place, and he was going to get a room, and I was going to get a room. And we found a apartment that was within our funding at the time, which was like $1,200, though we made way more than that. And found out we went there, and they found out we can't go there. You know why? They said that it was what kind of housing is it? You know, whatever housing, like not assisted living, but you know what I'm saying. Um,
Project?
yeah, basically. I mean, it didn't look like it. It looked great, but basically, you have to be under a certain amount for you to live there. We were
Oh,
definitely over that.
oh, that's not projects. That's they call it
Yeah,
low
yeah,
income.
yeah. Low income housing.
Yeah.
And what was it? That was in like 2010 or something like that. 2011. Yeah, no, 2012. And it was making around 70 a year. Right now, you could do 100 something a year. So, I'm this whole metropolitan area is expensive, basically. And any place that you can move that isn't expensive is dangerous, or they've had people are saying it is dangerous, even the people from it. So, why would you move there? And anything between that is expensive. So, I'm driving back and forth from Baltimore to Virginia, 88 miles away. So I'm driving 3.5 to 4 hours to go to work, and 3.5 to 4 hours to get back. So that's 8 hours out of me working in a day, and 8 hours to myself. I can't go educate myself because everything's closed by the time I'm, out the door or
Yeah.
get even close to my hometown. I'm waking up to go to work at 3 a.m. I'm barely getting enough sleep. So I'm just like, what do you want? You're burning me from both ends. And then finally, when they were asking me to be moved up here to Baltimore, they fought tooth and nail to keep me from being put up here. I'm just like, they'll burn you out. They will burn you out.
Well,
And that's the way it is.
yeah, I look at it like that's just a part of the game. I don't
Yeah,
I don't I'm not surprised.
but
'Cause,
that's what I'm saying. Also, is accepting the problem is not. It's not right. It's just
oh
not right.
no. Yeah, it's not right, but I had I transferred when I transferred on my old job when I was in Atlanta to come up here. Man,
Right,
the manager tried to block that shit,
right,
and
right.
I don't know what she thought she was trying to do, but she didn't have no power to do anything. She was doing a bunch of talking,
Mm.
and I
You weren't
wasn't
dating her, were you?
surprised, huh?
You weren't dating her, were you?
No,
Then she wanted some.
I don't know what the
uh,
problem was. I never looked at her like that.
you didn't get me before you go.
It's the thing is, man, on a lot of these jobs, you're not. It's really hard to find somebody to talk to if you have any problems.
Yeah.
That's what I found to be the biggest problem with a lot of these jobs. Even if
Yeah.
you keep a low profile, at some point, if you stay there long enough, you're gonna have something's gonna happen.
Right. Right. Something's got to give.
So there's no safe space. That's
Yeah.
why I I got like a 2 to 5 year window on these jobs.
Right.
Either I'm gonna have to move on or they're gonna let me go. And it
Right.
doesn't have anything to do with me being unproductive or not a good employee, not a good team player. It don't have anything to do with none of that. None of that.
You just, I should have just done that. I should have just left and just gone to school. Get that whatever I needed, because that was a big waste of time. It really was.
Yeah, man.
But that's what I worry about in this country, because I don't want it to be a big waste of time for everybody else. You know,
I know
we're
guys.
dependent.
I know guys that go through what you just said every day.
Yeah.
And they've been going through the same shit for 15, 20, 25 years. And they don't have no skills. They just know how to just go from job to job.
Right.
And if they lose their job, they're asked out.
But here's the thing. I did and trained in a job in the military. So I knew what I was doing. And they
Yeah.
tried to tell me it wasn't working like that. And then I finally got to the people that they kept calling and saying they don't know what they're doing. And I started talking to them, and they were like, you definitely knew what you were doing. And I started doing stuff with them. And soon I had stuff fixed over and over. I was improving everything, and it stayed fixed. I'm just like, it was just an insult. It was a good job in one sense, and I felt appreciated, but on the other end, it was just an insult. You know, I
Yeah.
didn't have the certificates. I didn't have anything to back up my experiences or what I could do. I still don't.
I don't have
But
no certificates either.
right, but I knew what I was doing, how to do it, and why to do it, and when to do it, and where to do it. I could get up and go do any job right now, which is what I was trained to do in telecommunications for wide area networks, is to be able to jump into anything, read a few pages of a manual, and get it running and work it properly. That's what I
Yeah.
was meant to do.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know what? Most people that you work with, they don't know how to do that. They have the certificates though.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
and they get jealous about that shit real quick. Why do you know this?
Yeah, because
How
they're
do you know
insecure.
that?
They're insecure because they know they don't
Yeah,
know what they know. They have to bullshit around on the job and jump on the internet
yeah,
and Google how to
yeah.
do whatever. That's that type of shit.
I went through my 15-minute breaks twice a day, and I blazed through my lunch break.
It
I just had to keep.
might take them 4 hours to complete something that takes 30 minutes.
And
And
mind you, they on that 15-minute break turns into a half hour to hour, and their lunch break turns into 2 hours or
and
more.
and and check this out. Nobody says anything to them. Nobody says,
No,
"Hey man, you still working on that shit?" Nobody says anything to them about it.
no,
Though. They take their
no.
time. The whole day goes by.
But I love doing what I did, but I also had to show that, we could do that job, and that there was there
Yeah,
isn't that we weren't. But the thing is also that other people like us were stabbing you in the back too.
of
Like,
course.
damn,
I
damn,
I understand why though.
why?
What? Because
Why?
they've been trained to. They professional ass kissers. They
You
they
know, I,
they 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 insecure just like the rest of the average person. They insecure too.
I mean, as many phone calls as I was getting, as many tickets, work things that I had to work, I would have taught or showed anybody anything, and they knew it. They just,
But they don't. That's what makes them insecure.
yeah, yeah. You know something that can't be right.
You're not supposed to know more than me. That's their mentality. You 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 don't even fit the part. You don't even look the part. How the
Well,
hell you know something I
well,
know? I've been to college. You haven't.
yeah, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not trying to hate on people and nothing like that, but you know what you're doing, and that was disrespectful, you know.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, to that person, there's certain people in there, you know what you were doing. I'm like, but that's the lion in the cage thing. That's always the lion in the cage thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather be out there on the savannah. I can. You're gonna have those people that are crabby over there, but at least they know that I'm not trying to hurt them. And even though I might be outside of everything, fine. I might find me a woman to start my own pride, and they will be part of that country. So I don't leave them in something that isn't going to stab them in the back later.
Yeah. What up,
But
bro?
Hey, Sharp, I want to jump on quick. You mentioned like on these jobs, they stab you in the back and stuff.
mm,
Yeah.
how you
The
doing?
reason these guys do that, you gotta understand, a lot of them aren't even qualified to be there.
Yeah.
Right,
Even if they
right.
go to college, they cheated their way through or just professional kiss asses. But the truth of the matter, I worked for supermarket. My
Mhm.
district manager had a high school diploma because his cousin was on the board of that particular business. Okay, he was
Yeah,
a fool, and he had his little pets running around taking notes on everybody, doing things, working overtime, not clocking in. He tried that
right.
with me. I let him know it's not gonna happen. Soon got let go like 2 weeks later for some BS, but they're not
Mm,
qualified to be there. All they're doing is scavenging through life, usually by trying to step on you. They'll have a folder with all of the mistakes you've made, and
right.
they'll blow it out of consideration to make it seem like, oh, you're such a bad person, even though you're college educated. Look, you made this many mistakes. I'm not college educated, but look, I've made so little. So that's the whole thing. They're not supposed to be there, man. This corporate America's like Game of Thrones, man.
Things, yeah.
Yeah.
That's all it is. They're just trying to cut your throat to take your spot. So they'll
Right.
have a nice job to have minions underneath them. That's all it is, man.
Even though I didn't have a spot, I was just in the same position as them. But
It
you
doesn't
know,
matter because
matter.
they see your light. They see your energy. They put it
They
to you.
know. They know what type of guy you are.
Even
Yes,
even if you could pass the light, do
it,
better
it,
than me.
it does
No.
not matter because you
But
got
it
to
doesn't matter.
understand the slave mind. You got to understand they don't have the same education, courage,
Mhm.
ambition like you
No.
do
They don't.
because they do not have these tools like you do
Right,
inside their slave mind.
right,
They will convince themselves you are their enemy.
right.
And what do we do to our enemies? We destroy them.
With
That's
whatever
the,
means they
the
can.
slave mind. They don't
Right.
have the tools like you, and you are a constant reminder of what they'll never be because they don't really want the tools. They just want you know, the the position. They want the notoriety of
Yeah.
just being the manager or just such and such position. That's all it is.
Right,
It's just a
right,
joke, really.
Yeah.
right. It's sad though.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
sad.
But it's
That's why I
true.
don't deal with certain people, certain corporations, and all that. I've
mm,
had bosses tell me I had a contract once with a company,
mhm.
9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Boss tried me, said, I want you to work 7 a.m. to say 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Said I have a contract. So he's listen, do these extra hours for me. You don't got to really clock in too. I said, I have a contract. You want me to call a lawyer?
Mm,
About
yeah.
3 weeks later, my position was let go. The budget cut. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how it is out here, man. But you gotta keep it moving, man. You have to get the skills and the tools to
Mhm.
navigate, not around things like that, but through it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
eventually another company called me to be a driver there, and I was like, nah, I don't want to deal with that. I'm working at another company, so yeah, you have to get your own tools to make your own way through life, or you're gonna be used. That's what I
Yeah.
learned in life.
Right.
Yeah. That's the
My
biggest lesson I learned over the years, man.
my best friend when that happened to him about 2 years ago, and he'd been working in the same field for over 14 years in Maryland. And he went to Texas, and this dude got hired because he was a friend of the family. He moved from one end of the company to the other, and he didn't know what he was doing, right? And even though he's not a supervisor or manager, my best friend has a demeanor of being a supervisor or manager. He's not going to do it, but everybody on the floor is going to listen to him. So no matter what you say, no matter what you say, everybody's going to follow my friend. Um, so it doesn't matter whether he was trying to overman the guy or not. You know, he still saw him as a threat because he was, he had more presence or control of the office of the floor. And so everybody, and this is in Texas, everybody on the floor said he was being not either racist or being, you know, causing problems with him, so they could get it. It would be a what do you call that? Um, just one of those lawsuits in there, and they could have paid him, but he got out of that. He winds up coming up to Austin, and now he's making more money. He worked at two companies, and I think he doubled his pay. And that experience blessed him, and where
Yep.
he's been and where he's going.
Yes,
If
sir.
you knew where he worked right now, you'd have been like, "Oh my God, you went from this to this." You'd be like, "God blessed you for getting away from that other company,"
Yeah.
because if you'd have stayed there, you would not have those two jobs. Nope. And if he
That's
leaves
how the
one,
universe works. Yep.
yep, he got the one job and went to the other one. And if he gets out of this job and he feels like leaving, he can go back to the other one. They're
See?
they're like, we'll definitely take you back immediately. That's yeah. He had that clout. He definitely did.
There it is. And most guys would have caved in and not even saw take a chance to leave that company. They would have kissed butt, or they say, hey,
Mhm.
you want you to work on the holidays, whatever. They would do it, thinking
Right.
the more I kiss butt, the more they'll respect me. But I
They ain't got
learned,
no respect.
No.
especially with white people, they do not respect anybody working free.
Oh hell no.
We had a civil war against slavery. Okay, they do not respect you working free, and I know some Negroes who thought I'll work 60 hours and only clock in like 30, and they'll see
No.
how ambitious I am, and then they came back to me months later. Oh man, I never got paid for it. Who told you not to clock in? Huh?
Right. 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 But no, I can take the blame for that. I would hump through my lunch hour, but that's because if I didn't do that, I couldn't take the next 4 hours to stay there. I just had to hump through it. I was just like, if I stop, I'm not going to start up again. I just want to get
Yeah.
out of here and let the time pass and be out. That was the
I know
only reason I did it.
you had a benefit. That's what I mean. You had a benefit for it. I'm talking about guys that are just desperate to look
Right.
good and his butt and getting nothing for it.
For it. No.
Yeah.
No. I no, I can't. No.
Yeah. I realized at an early age, I think I was about 32. And I was like, man, nobody's coming to save me. I'm really out here by myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was scary, bro. That was really scary at the time. I'm out here. I think something happened at the time. Oh, I know what it was. I told this story many times when somebody broke into my apartment and stole all my money I had.
Yeah.
And the same week, I got laid off, and somebody tried to steal my car. This happened all this happened within the same month.
Damn.
Yeah. So think about this now. I had $5,000 in my apartment, and
Gone.
I lost my job same week. 2 weeks later, somebody tried to steal my Honda Civic I had at the time. And now you got to keep in mind, this is all the money I had.
Right.
I've been saving this money for months. I have no more money coming in because this is all I had, one income at the time.
And nobody's got your back.
And now I'm waiting to be transferred. And I'm like, yo, how long is it going to take? I keep calling the manager. He said, no, they ain't sending it over here. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, man. So now the second month comes by real fast. I'm like, yo, man. And I still got rent. I can't pay rent.
Right.
I can't even pay the deductible to get my car fixed at the time. So I'm like, I'm fucked up out here, man. And I couldn't, I didn't have nobody to call at the time, around me at the time. Nobody was like, yo, I can't do it. I ain't got it. So I'm like, oh, I'm fucked up out here. And that on that day, man, I was like, man, if I ever get out of this is never gonna happen to me again. And it never happened to me again, man. And that's when I came up with the philosophy that having one thing is a recipe for a disaster.
Right.
I think that's why most societies that had an army, I thought hundreds of years ago, young man about the age of 14, 15, 16 had a rite of passage.
Yeah.
Most of the time they had to go out in the woods or off on their own for a certain amount of time to understand just what you said, Sharp. You're in this world by yourself.
Yeah.
You got to figure it out with the tools you were given.
Yeah. I'm like, yo, I'm out here, bro. Because my parents were living at the time, and what they gonna do? They like what, 4 hours away.
Right.
You can't do
You
nothing.
don't want to bother them.
Yeah.
You don't want to
They
bother
can't
them.
do nothing. So what they gonna like? Okay, I call my parents. Yeah, they say, yeah, I lost my job or whatever. I'm gonna get transferred. Okay, what? Okay, well, son, what do you want me to do about that? I mean, go find another job, I guess. So that day, man, that kind of gave me a wake-up call. I started to see things differently from that day.
You can keep nobody in your house no more.
Yeah. I used to ride around when I got out the Navy. I used to ride around with cash all the time because I always look at it like, I don't know where I'm gonna be. I don't know where I'm gonna end up at. And some of these towns at that time, it was hard to find an ATM where I was at.
Right.
I'm like, I'm gonna have some cash on me, man, just in case.
I think I remember old video you saying that.
Yeah.
About that.
And when I used to have run-ins with cops, and when I got stopped when I was going to Jacksonville, Florida. and I had them fatigue camouflage short pants. A lot of people
Yeah.
in the military wear
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
bulging pockets.
yeah.
I had about 4,000 or 5,000 in my pocket, but the
Oh,
pockets were bulging, right?
yeah.
And I got stopped by a state trooper on I-95 just across the Florida state line.
Yeah.
And he
That's
was
a
like, hey,
bad place to
man,
be.
yeah. Well, I didn't know that. I didn't know that at
Mm-hmm.
the time. Because,
Yeah.
it's my first time driving to Florida at the time. And he was like,
Yeah.
hey, well, at first, how I got stopped was crazy. Because,
Mm.
I'm driving, listening to my music. And, from a distance on the interstate, you can kind of see that cars on the side of the road or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't see that it was a cop car
Right,
until I
right.
got close on it. And it looked like a man on the side of the road pointing
Mm.
something. So I'm
Right.
like, what the hell? So I realized that, oh, that's a cop on the side of
Yeah.
the road pointing something, right?
Yeah. Speed check.
And I realized after the fact that it was a radar gun he
Mm-hmm.
was pointing. So
Mm-hmm.
he jumped in his car and stopped me. So he was like, hey, let me see your driving license. So I'm like, hey, why you stop me? He said, you swerve. I'm like, yeah, I swerved because I was trying to see what you were doing on the side of the road. Or he's like, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But I said, hey, I wasn't speeding, you know what I'm saying? But he said,
Swerving.
yeah, but you still swerve, right? So
Yeah.
so he ran my plates and my license and came back. And that's when he said, hey, can I get you to get out of the car? I said, all right, cool. When he gave my license back and said, hey, where you going? I said, in Jacksonville. So he said, why your pockets are so big? I'm like, there's my money in there. Right? So
Mm-hmm.
when he said, where you getting the money from? I said, yo, I just got out the Navy, bro. Oh, he's like, oh. He said, how come you didn't tell me that at first?
Yeah.
You
From the
didn't
beginning.
ask. And then he was like, oh, have a nice day, man. All right, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Now,
Depending.
when I left, when I got to Jacksonville, now I didn't know this at the time. He
Mm-hmm.
said, if first off, if I didn't tell that cop I was just got out, if I didn't tell a cop I was in the Navy, he more than likely he wouldn't have backed off. First thing, and the second thing is, if somebody told me I would have had to prove
Where I got the
how I
money from.
got the money
Right.
if I didn't tell him I was in the military too. I'm like, what? And I was like, yeah, they would have took your money and you would have had to prove later on that it was legit.
Right.
And
Right.
I was like, man, look, they don't do that shit to them white guys, man. They're like, yeah, I know, but hey, that's usually how it go with us.
Dude, I'm telling you, me and my boy drove to Houston with his dog, to get the vehicle and his dog down there. And I'm telling you right now, we made only 2 or 3 stops. And one of those stops, uh, I was falling asleep on myself. For the first time ever, I was just falling asleep on myself. We were not trying to stop. Not at all. Not at all. Nope. Through rain or whatever, we did it in 24 hours. That was insane.
Damn.
Yeah. But oh, that incident makes me know that you don't drive in rush hour that long, do you? Maybe 30 minutes to an hour, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because if you drove any longer, you would know how you'd be able to see all those traffic things. You would know. Like
Oh,
the last thing,
this was a weekend.
yeah, don't care. It doesn't matter. Let's put it this way. You know that stuff, the type of coding where it's supposed to, you know, uh, it's like a black where it keeps from shining back. Maryland State Troopers on 29 here started putting it on. And I knew because they said it in the news that they were eventually going to do it. So, but I keep a sharp eye on vehicles, right? Anywhere, anything, on the side. And I kept looking up the road. It's at night, and I'm like, something ain't right. So something in my mind started subtracting, where there wasn't light. And I was like, oh, hell, that's a police car. I was just like, oh, shit. Oh, it was crazy. It was crazy. I was like, I never saw anything like that before. But that color black thing where it draws in the light and doesn't reflect back, it'll throw you off real bad.
Yeah, these type of experiences, man, taught me that you got to outthink these fools out here.
Sir, I'm telling you.
You don't really have no friends out here, man, on these jobs. Don't get fooled. Like, don't get confused and think that, hey, just because somebody's talking to you at the job and y'all have a cool job relationship that y'all friends. No. Don't get it twisted. No. Don't get it twisted, man.
I learned Sharp. You just at a job for one thing only, just for a paycheck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't mix my I don't mix my personal and professional relationships together. The job is the job. Yeah. You ain't coming over to my damn house if we work together either. No,
Don't do that.
They'll ask that over time. Hey,
right.
Why don't you come over to the house, man? We have a cookout since you ain't going back home for Thanksgiving or something or whatever holiday. No, hell no. Don't fall for that.
Most of the time, they're just trying to figure you out or trying to see how you are living.
Yeah. Or they'll say, hey, even the manager might say something like, hey, what are you doing for Christmas? I'm like, not much. Hey, why don't you and your wife come on over? On Christmas Day, we have Christmas dinner. You meet my wife, and your wife meet my, hell no. Don't fall for that. Don't fall for it. I've seen it go left with a lot of people.
You be swinging or you be part of a cult.
It's like they'll come back to the job and tell everybody.
Yep.
Oh man, he had a whole tons of drink. He was putting them down, man. And you be like, wait a minute, this dude is telling everybody what happened. Right. And be like, oh man, don't do it. I always say, man, I don't start anything that I can't keep doing either. That's another rule I have when it comes to these jobs.
Right.
It could go left real fast, boy. All right, brothers, I'm about to get up off here.
All right, Sharp. You have a good night, sir. You too. What is your name again?
Sir. Mike.
Mike. All right, Mike.
Y'all hold it down, man. Peace.
No.
Yes, sir. It's official. Like a referee with a whistle. What up, Marcus? What's up, Marcus? It's been a minute since I heard from you. What up? So, hey, man, check out the Patreon. And don't forget about the podcast and all that good stuff. Any questions and concerns, you can always go to my website. That's chooseyourrelationships.com. Or you hit me on Instagram. There's a link below this video. You can hit me on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? That's the quickest way. And the next way is our website, chooseyourrelationships.com. You know what I'm saying? But hey, that's all I got. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.